So today our focus is of course giving you the tips on how to improve your activity and mobility. So I will be sharing you today the 16 tips on how to improve your activity and mobility. Especially today that we are actually being on a stay-at-home mandate that is actually promoted by our government. Hello everyone, welcome back to Brain with CV, and of course today is a brand new episode of this channel, and of course this episode is going to be a continuation of our Quaran-Tips, our totally innovative personalized suggestions. So today our focus is of course giving you the tips on how to improve your activity and mobility. So I will be sharing you today the 16 tips on how to improve your activity and mobility, especially today that we are actually being on a stay-at-home mandate that is actually promoted by our government. So therefore, it is essential for us to follow this certain guidelines that is actually set by the government. So today I'll be sharing you these tips, and I have made mnemonics in order for us to easily remember these things. So I made this following mnemonics in order for us to easily remember this. So from these 16 tips, I made this into two words, and that's gonna be the word activity and mobility. So it is composed of the following letters. So the first word is activity, so it has the following letter. We have letter A, C, T, I, V, I, T, and Y. So the second word is mobility, and it's composed of the following letters: M, O, B, I, L, I, T, and Y. So this is composing the 16 tips on how to improve your activity and mobility. So to start with, let's begin with the first word, and the first word is activity. Letter A stands for activity. Starts with stretching. So of course, any activity that you're going to perform in your family or in your house, it has to begin with stretching, because of course stretching is one way or another tells your muscle that there's a need for this muscle to be stretched, because of course when you stretch your muscle, of course it will actually tell your muscles that there's a need for them to be contracted. So in order also for us to avoid the possibility of sprains or strains, so therefore we have to do stretching. So again, letter A is activity starts with stretching. Let's now have letter C. Letter C is clean your house. So of course the mandate of our government is to have a stay-at-home program, so therefore it is essential for us to make sure that our house is actually clean. So what we're going to be doing is we have to clean our house every day. So that's going to be a suggestion that is going to be applicable to everybody. So letter C is clean your house. That is letter C. Let's now have letter T. Letter T is take a speed walk. So of course, in order for us to improve our activity, we have to have our speed walk. So this speed walk is just turning around your house. Of course, this will improve your cardiac function then. So as much as possible, take a speed walk. That is letter T. Let's now have letter I. Letter I is increase your hydration. So in all our videos, all about tips on improving your activities then, so it is included that there has to be an increase in your hydration level. But of course, this hydration level is essential because of course this will actually prevent us from having dehydration. So as what I mentioned before, that our body is composed of 60 to 70% water. That's gonna be around 60 to 70% of our total body weight. So it is good for us to have good source of water then. So in order for us to have no problems with our hydration, so we have to increase our water intake. That is letter I. Let's now have letter V. View and understand the limits of others. So as much as possible, it is essential for us to understand and view that others might actually have limitations, because of course these limitations probably is brought about by their existing physical conditions or existing physical or physiological disorders. So therefore it is good for us to make sure that we view and understand that they have their own limits. So when say they have their own limits, they are capable only of doing things that is actually in relation to their capacity then. So it is good for us to remember that we have to view and understand the limits of others. So that is letter V. Let's proceed now to letter I. Letter I is include planning ahead of time. So of course, planning is essential, especially when we do things in our family or when we do things at home. So as much as possible, there has to be an inclusion of planning, because this plan is gonna be essential and it has to be followed by members of the family. So for us to remember things, then we have to make sure that it is properly planned, because of course if it's not planned, so there is gonna be a problem with its execution. So that is letter I. Letter I is include planning ahead of time. Let's now have letter T. Try the long way. So of course, in order for us to improve our activity then, so do not use the shortcuts. Do not use any other shortcuts. Of course, if you're going to go to the mall, so if there is gonna be stairs, then you use the stairs instead of using the elevator or instead of using the escalator. But of course, since you are actually at home, so as much as possible, do not use the shortcuts. So you do the long way. So as much as possible, take the long way. So to complete the first word, and that's gonna be letter Y. So this is gonna be to complete the word activity. So we have now letter Y. Letter Y is you play outside. So as much as possible, of course, do not just focus at home. Do not just focus on what are the activities that you can do inside your house. But of course, it's good also for us to remember that you can go outside. But of course, you have to maintain the social distancing as mandated by the government then. So in order for us to do things outside, because of course, when you do things outside, this is gonna be one way also for you to increase your exposure to sunlight. Because of course, exposure to sunlight is gonna be important in order for us to convert our inactive vitamin D to its active form. At the same time, this will also gonna be of help, especially in decreasing the melatonin level, especially if there is a need for us to function without the use of this melatonin. So we're done with the first word. That's the word activity. Let us review. Let's begin with letter A. Letter A is activity starts with stretching. Letter C is clean your house. Letter T is take a speed walk. Letter I is increase more water. Letter V is view and understand the limits of others. Letter I is include planning ahead of time. Letter T is try the long way. And letter Y is play outside. So these are our first word, our first letters then. So let's proceed now to our second word. Let's now have the second word, and the second word is mobility. And of course, this mobility is composed of the following letters: letter M, O, B, I, L, I, T, and Y. Let's begin with letter M. Letter M is mix up your weekend routine. So of course, if that's gonna be your weekend, so it's essential for us to have this weekend activities then at home. So it's good that we are going to mix up these activities in order for us to have lots of things to do then. So that is letter M. Mix up your activities on a weekend. Let's now have letter O. Letter O is observe a safe environment. So of course, when you do your activity or when you do your activities in the family, then as much as possible, you have to make sure that you're going to observe a safe environment, because of course this is one way of making sure that there has to be no injury that will actually occur with any of your family members then. So as much as possible, observe a safe environment. That is letter O. Let's now have letter B. Letter B is be a role model to your family member. So as much as possible, you have to do things that of course other members of the family will actually follow you then. Because of course, by doing those things, it will actually tell them that of course you took your initiative. So be a role model with your other family members. It's not that of course since you have this role to play in your family, so this being a model in your family is gonna be essential, because of course this will let your family member observe that you have developed this initiative in you, and that's gonna be part of your personality development then. So that is letter B. Be a role model with your family member. Let's now have letter I. Since you have this activity in the family, so letter I is initiate planting a garden. So since this is a mandate of the government to stay at home, so it is essential for us to have something that will actually increase our management of time. So as much as possible, we could probably initiate having our own garden, or we have to plant something in our house, but in our vacant unavailable lot in our perimeter. So as much as possible, then we can probably initiate planting a garden. So that is letter I. Let's now have the next letter, and that's gonna be letter L. Letter L is limit or turn off the TV. So as much as possible, do not focus or do not dwell on having more time with watching televisions, or having those things that are not intended to be done on that specific day. So as much as possible, we have to limit and turn off the television once in a while, because of course sometimes this television is gonna be a big problem, especially if we have actually spent longer hours than in our TV. So in order for us to maximize our time then, so we have to probably turn this one on, or turn on this one off, and at the same time we will actually going to do things that is in relation to our activity and mobility tips. That's gonna be letter L. Let's now have our next letter. That's letter I. Letter I is initiate play with family member. So of course, since you're actually at home, so it is essential for us to take into consideration that of course we can do things with other members of the family. So we can initiate a play with your family members then. So if you can do that, then that's good. So as much as possible, initiate play with family members. That's letter I. Let's now have letter T. Letter T is take time to do more household chores. So when you say take time to do more household chores, it is good for us to take into consideration that you can perform things that are in relation to your household activities then. So if for example you have washed your dishes already today, so probably you can extend things, then later on you can actually laundry your clothes, or you can cook in your family member. Try to explore things, so you can actually do or take time to a more household chores. That's letter T. Let's now have the final letter. That's gonna be letter Y. Letter Y is you have to have more fun in doing these things. So of course, since we're doing an activity tip, so as much as possible, there is a need for us to make sure that you have actually fun in doing these things, because of course without fun in doing these things, of course this will actually make your day not properly working well. So as much as possible, you have to have fun in doing these things. So let us revisit once again our 16 tips in improving our activity and mobility. So let's begin with letter A. Letter A is activity starts with stretching. Letter C, clean your house. Letter T, take a speed walk. Letter I, increase more water. Letter V, view and understand limits of others. Letter I, include planning ahead of time. Letter T, try the long way. Letter Y, you play outside. Our second word, mobility. Letter M, mixed up your weekend routine. Letter O, observe a safe environment. Letter B, be a role model of your family member. Letter I, initiate planting a garden. Letter L, Limit or turn off the TV. Letter I. Initiate play with family members. Letter T. Take time to more household chores. Letter Y. You have to have fun in doing these things. So these are the 16 tips on how to improve your activity and mobility while having this stay-at-home mandate by the government. So this is the purpose of this channel. So that's gonna be all about information, education, and communication. So this is all about social awareness, at the same time giving you information on things that are relevant on our existing situation today. So this has been Brain Blitz TV. What's in must come out and what's out must come in. Keep coming. And if you're actually new to this channel, please don't forget to click the subscribe button. At the same time, please don't forget to hit the notification bell for you to be updated with the succeeding uploads of this channel. And at the same time, please don't forget to like this video. At the same time, if you want to be heard with your comment, just don't forget to comment down below. So that is it. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.